Hey guys, Zero here again, and I've got another unboxing. This is actually more of a review, kind of. I've had this thing for a long time, back from my Airsoft days, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it. I was going through some stuff, cleaning out some stuff, and I found it, and I was like, man, I should do a review on this because it's pretty cool. So we'll get to it really quick. This is the CAA Airsoft Division Roni Pistol Carbine Conversion Kit. I picked this up a while back to use in a CQB environment, so close quarter combat situations. We play at like Milwaukee Airsoft, and we've played up in Wisconsin with Cobra Airsoft Division. They've got a private, place that they play, and it's used it a couple of times. Actually, I've used it a lot, and it's pretty cool. You actually get to this. You put your pistol in here, your gas blowback pistol. This one is designed for Berettas because they make them either for Glocks or Berettas. So you put your pistol in there, and it makes it like a carbine. So you've got multiple. You can put both hands on it and keep it more stable. And it's pretty cool. We'll get over to the table and I'll show you guys what it looks like, and we'll break it down. Alright guys, sit tight. Alright guys, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the box for this thing, and and then we'll take a look at the product itself. They've got some photos here with some descriptions of what this can be used for. I guess who uses it, like special forces, undercover missions, urban security, VIP protection, police, and military. And there's others along the side of the box. It's pretty funny. This is a warning there for you, for those of you who are interested. And we've got some more on this side. SWAT, private use, embassies. In case you want to protect the embassy, border checkpoints, airport security, and banks. And the back of the box, or bottom of the box, it's just got the Roni logo and their website information and stuff. Inside the box, there's not much. It's not, spectacular. It's just got some custom cut foam, which is pretty cool. What? No gun. But here's where the carbine sits. You also get some spare parts. These parts I'll explain in a second. And outside of that, there's nothing else in the box. And then we've got the instructions here on how to put this together, how to, install your sidearm. We'll just do that real quick. So it's not like, there's some customizability. You can actually, add some rail mounted accessories like I have, and I'll show you. But pretty much it's just designed to make your pistol into a small carbine. Pretty cool. All right. Get this out of here. And we'll take a quick look at the kit itself. This is a pretty heavy kit, actually, in my opinion. Some people will tell you, hashtag get strong, whatever. But for a carbine kit, for a pistol, it's pretty heavy, and it's compact, so a lot of the weight is like right here. Naturally your pistol's here, but it's like right here, because there's not a lot in the framework here. There's not a lot. It's just pretty like an empty shell, like a clamshell, and you just put it together, bolt it together, and it holds your pistol in place. So we have the stock here, and I want to say it does have this here. Will allow you to adjust the cheek bone, so you can raise and lower the cheek rest. You know, I keep it down because there's no real point to have it up. I use a face mask too, so if I raise it, it just becomes more difficult to use. You know, during games. I'm not sure how this extends. I do think it extends. There's a magazine, an extra magazine holder here. It's cool. I don't know. I've tried it a couple times and it does come loose. You see? So I do it just for storage purposes. I'll put this thing, you know, I'll leave it in there for when I have it in my closet or whatever. But I will not use it during a game. Just because of the amount of bouncing around you do when you're running back and forth and stuff like that. And everybody knows these mags can be expensive eventually, and you know, especially if they're KWA mags or something like that, you're gonna lose these and you're gonna be out of your mind, you know, because they're so friggin' expensive. So I would not recommend using this in game. I would just recommend if you're gonna store it like I do, just go ahead and leave it in there, no big deal. But game wise, no, I would not leave these in there. What else do we got here? You obviously got a QD mount for a sling on either side. I mean, I guess you know it's good to have. It's not like I mean it's cool. I mean I used it in CQB, and the games that I used it in, they were such short games. I didn't need the mount. You know, I didn't need it because. You know, you went in, you shot a little bit, you know, maybe even if I think there was a couple games where I lasted till the end of the game. They weren't that long. They were short games, so I didn't need the sling. It was just... And I didn't use this all day. This wasn't an all-day weapon for me. This was a couple different games throughout the day, you know, a couple different sessions, you know, and I would change to my short-barreled M4. You know, or just use pistols, or just use my shotgun. Whenever I'm in CQB, I try to switch up the weapons a little bit on and off, just to kind of get used to the different guns that I have. You know, because this is just me. You've got your charging handle here. And it stays back because the magazine is empty on the pistol. And you drop that. Quick safety test. There's no ammo in any of the mags. But that stays back there just like you know, because it's locked here. You drop that and it comes right back. Moving forward, you have this grip here. You can use it either in this manner, which is the way I choose to use it. I actually like it this way. Or you press this button. You press this button right here, and it'll come down. I think I have it locked though because of the flashlight. Yeah, it's stuck. No. This is it. This is it here actually. So this button here removes it. So you take the whole thing off the frame. This button, you push it down, and that's what allows you to drop the grip, the foregrip. I don't like it like this. This is not, I don't like this style of play. I mean, it's just not, it's great because it has one, but as you can see, it actually wobbles back and forth, and it's not comfortable due to the nature of it, you know. And I mean, again, it's not knocking it. I'm just saying that this is one of those things. Maybe if you have gloves, because I usually use gloves sometimes too. It's not a big deal, but I just don't like the feel of it. Like, you know, I don't like hand grips like this or foregrips like this. I'm not a fan of that. That's why I usually just hold it here. Now, you know, you've got the 3 Picatinny rails. So you've got the one on this side, one on this side, and then you've got the top rail with the numbers on it to, you know, in case you want to change your optics back and forth during games and stuff like that. You can remember where you put your optic, or what position you put your optic in. Barrel condiment. You got to use barrel socks at airsoft events when you're walking around with your guns usually. Most fields will do that. They'll have you use the sock there because they just want to make sure you're being as safe as possible, because no matter how safe you are or think you are, there's always somebody who pulls the trigger. You've got a hand stop up here, like another one of those, it's just like a molded in stop for your finger, just in case you want to just run up here like this. I mean, it's up to you where you decide to hold the weapon, but there's different positions for you to hold it in, which is kind of nice. And that's the whole purpose of a carbine, right? Is so you could have another support, like your other hand there, to support the weapon when you're firing. It gives you a more stable platform, from what I've been told. And we've got flash hider here. It's a metal flash hider. I had to peel the orange plastic ring that came on here, and even using hot water and all that other stuff, it actually peeled off a lot of the paint, and it scored it a bit. It's not a big deal. I don't really care. I'm gonna paint it eventually. I just forgot to do it during the summer, but this flash hider is really, it serves no function for this kit, just because it's airsoft. But I mean, it does actually, in my opinion, it does make it louder when shooting indoors. Not much. It's not like it's going to hurt your ears or anything like that, but it is noticeably louder when you're shooting with this carbine kit than when you're just shooting your regular pistol by itself. Because I don't know, maybe it just produces an echo or something. I'm not sure, or maybe it's just the indoor nature of the game. This did come with two little flip-up sights, really tiny. You click and they flip right up. I took those off and put them on a different platform, just because I didn't want them on this one. I wanted a small red dot, so I found this. I think this is like an aim point clone. This is an NC Star, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it was supposed to be an aim point clone, and it's pretty good. It has red and green. It has a red and green dot, so goes from red, two settings, like dim to bright, and then it goes to green, dim to bright. So it's got that cool little thing, and it does help. It's not the greatest red dot. There's better out there, obviously, but for airsoft and for CQB, it worked great. It was fine, and it's quick detach. So you just pull this lever here, if you can get it loose. If you can break it loose. Oh wait, is it one of those button things? God dang it. Yeah, I think it's one of those little locky things. You unlock this with a key, and then you pull this up. That's good, it doesn't come off. That's pretty good. Now here's the other side. This is where the breech would be. You see where it would eject the round. You can see the action there. And this one, as I said before, this is for a Beretta, but they also make these for Glocks as well. I didn't have a Glock at the time. I had Beretta at the time. And this Beretta, just in case anybody's wondering, is a KWA PTP. So it's a professional training pistol. I have other Berettas, and I was going to put one of the cheaper ones in there, like the Wii or something like that. But I realized, I was like, nah, I don't want to have to keep taking this thing in and out. So I put the Beretta in. Because I put the KWA in because I was like, well, it's a great gun, it's gonna last, it's a good platform, so I might as well, and it's reliable, so I'll throw it in there until I gotta take it out and clean it. And I have a weapon light here. It's just a pretty basic weapon light. You turn the dial here, and you got on all the time. You turn it again, and you got pressure sensor on and off, and then you do the last turn, and that's just off. It won't go on. And pressure sensor is kind of funky. It depends on who's using it. A lot of people don't like them because when you have it up against your rig and you're bouncing around and whatever, it constantly goes off. And I've done that a lot. I'm very guilty of that. But I mean, it's there. I have it. I might as well use it. These things usually break. This is not a. I know for sure that this is not an airsoft light. This is actually a real steel light, so this is actually built to a better spec. But eventually, even professional ones, these switches eventually they get messed up. Oh, I forgot to show you guys the stock itself. There's a button here. You push that in, and that pulls the stock back. So if you got long arms, you can, you know, I think it's got 3 positions. Let's see. There's 1. Sorry about the shaky cam. There's 1. There's 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 positions there. So it should accommodate for people with longer arms, or people who like to extend the stock all the way out. I mean, I don't like doing that. I like it close to me, you know, and I have shorter arms, so that is what it is. But yeah, it's not too bad. It says here Beretta M9 on the M92 FS. It's got the logo here, little Airsoft logo guy. I'm not sure if that's a company logo or not, but it is what it is. But yeah, this will hold the standard Beretta 92F, and then if you use that little piece I showed you in the box, that attaches on the inside here, and that'll allow it to hold the M9 with the rail on it. So that's what that little piece was. The extra pieces were for different type of Beretta platform, if you want it. I definitely want to get a 30 round M9 mag, only because, like, as in CQB, this will be a primary on occasion, so I'd like to have a couple more rounds, not to be, you know, going trigger happy, but just to have more rounds that I don't have to change mags as much, excuse me. It gives me a little bit more time out in the field. But like I said, I mean, yeah, you can see this is just a cheap soft plastic here, so you can tell it's like, you know what I mean? I mean, it's meant to flex or whatever. There's some gaps on the bottom and top, you know, from where the 2 shells come together. It's nothing detrimental. It doesn't affect the functionality of the weapon. You know, it still does what it's supposed to do. And I think, it, you know, for what it is, you know, it's an over-glorified shell. It's fun. It's a fun kit. It wasn't too expensive at the time I bought it. It was about... I guess it, no, not considering what an airsoft pistol will cost you. The cheapest ones are like $80, $100, you know, for like a cheap wee Beretta. Now, if it was a Glock, it'd be more expensive because the Glocks are usually, you know, if you can get them, they're more expensive. But anyway, the Berettas are pretty cheap. So this kit being $75 at the time, I think I bought it from, I want to say, yeah, I bought it from Airsoft GI. And they had like some kind of coupon. It wasn't a big percentage off. It was something like 10% or something, or free shipping. It was one of the two. But I paid $75 for this, so I felt like it was not bad. It wasn't a wasted purchase. You know what I'm saying? I've bought some airsoft stuff that was kind of pretty much wasted purchases. You know, just trying different gear out and stuff like that. And that's the thing with airsoft, right? Like, you get what you pay for. And the biggest thing with airsoft is, you know, there's a lot of companies out there. There's a lot of remanufacturing companies and stuff like that. Like, for example, for the longest time, and I know people are going to get mad at me for this, but I don't give a shit. Excuse my French, but there's a company called Echo One, you know, and for the longest time what they would do is they would take already manufactured weapons and gear and rebrand it with their brand and then call it Echo One's Special Edition or whatever. They would put it on their site or through their through their distributors as their product, but when you actually got the product, it definitely wasn't theirs. It was somebody else's that they just rebranded. Now, that doesn't mean that they still do that. I don't know, and I believe they started having manufacturers make stuff for them specifically. But I don't know, don't quote me, I just know what it was. And, you know, like, people, any airsoft snobs will be like, oh, Classic Army is the best airsoft. And I'm always like, it's funny because Classic Army was the first clone company out there for airsoft. A lot of people don't want to admit that, but Tokyo Mari was the originator of airsoft weapons. Like, they started making them as prop replicas for movies and stuff like that, and then they started manufacturing them or, you know, gearing them towards the airsoft community because they made fully plastic weapons that they could use in Japan because they couldn't have any type of metal weapons in Japan. They couldn't have that stuff at all. So Classic Army was the first Chinese company to actually remake, you know, like redo and clone some of the Tokyo Mari weapons. So there you go, a little fun fact. So you don't like it, look it up, Google it. But like I said, you get what you pay for in airsoft. And there's some good companies out there, and there's some crappy companies out there, and there's companies out there just to make a quick buck, But usually when I find that when a company partners with a real steel manufacturer to make a product, at least nowadays, that product has to be pretty good, because now you're not just Umarex making cheap knockoffs of something. You're Umarex licensed by H&K and other companies, and now H&K's reputation is on the line, so they're not going to be as liberal with their licensing to companies that just want to produce cheap airsoft stuff, because airsoft is a great, I feel like, and I'm sure people have said this before, maybe they haven't, I don't know, but I feel like airsoft is a great training platform for firearms training, not in the sense that it prepares you for the shock of using a firearm, but in the sense that it prepares you for muscle memory and things like that. Like if you play how you play how you fight, or train how you fight, it can be a very useful tool. I'm not saying you're going to be this super elite gunfighter after you play a couple games of airsoft, not even in the least, not even by far. And for anybody who goes out there and says, yeah, airsoft is the way to train for real steel combat, no, fuck, that's bullshit. That's BS. Get it out of your system. What it will do is help you learn your equipment, and it'll help you determine what equipment works best for you. For example, your chest rig. You look in the airsoft and, oh, that's a cool rig. I want all that cool stuff. I want an admin pouch, and I want cool patches and all this other great crap. But when you get out on the training field, that stuff may not be useful at all, and you have to really utilize what's going to be useful to you in a gunfight. What's the purpose of the chest rig? Are you building it for direct combat? Or conflict? Are you building it for espionage? Are you building it for getting home? There's all different types of uses for chest rigs and weapon platforms. And if you're building it thinking like Call of Duty, like you're going to go in there and you're going to sweep the battlefield, and you're going to elite skill kill everybody, you're sadly mistaken. Airsoft is not for that. You know what I'm saying? Airsoft is just a simulation tool. It's just like a video game. It's to simulate the environment you could be in, so you could utilize, like I said, learn your tools, take it and test your gear. Go out there and test can your gear withstand going through water? Is that going to survive going through a river? If it's not, then that's not something you want to depend your life on. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely a great tool for muscle memory and that kind of thing, and and also learning the equipment, like what does what goes where, how it feels in your hands. This is a 1-1 replica of a Roni kit. Like, this actual kit exists, so I know if I were to pick one up, I'd know where the functions are, at the very least, you know what I'm saying? And I know, okay, well, I know how the gun locks in there, so if I have to take the gun out, I can unscrew it, flip it open, take the gun out, maintain the gun, because I know how to maintain a Beretta. But in no way, shape, or form do I feel like because I have one of these, I'm going to be an expert with a Roni, because I have no idea what the recoil is like. I have no idea what the carrying weight is like. I don't have a micro aim point. These are ridiculously expensive. I don't use these. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, like I said, you can use this as a tool for education, but I would not rely on this for the definitions of skill at all, in no way, shape, or form. I know guys who are real steel shooters and airsofters, and they talk a good game on the real range. When you get in the airsoft, they're getting pwned like by little Timmy son of a bitch with a Walmart Springer. It has happened. So don't think that you're going to be super elite, just because you've got the top-notch airsoft gear, But nonetheless, I digress. I apologize. I'm just my little rant. But the CAA Roni kit for the Beretta 92F. This is a really fun kit. Like I said, it's very heavy, so you got to get used to the weight. It's great as a close quarters primary, not for long range, because it's a pistol. It's not going to get very far, but fun, definitely fun. And if I were to buy the real steel kit, I think it's a couple $100. I think if it was to buy the real steel version for my Beretta, I would at least be prepared to a degree for what what's to expect from it. You know, and like I've seen the real steel. I know the real steel doesn't have these big old gaps down here. They may, you know, like this is like, I think this is like ABS fiber, like fiberglass and ABS plastic. Okay, and I don't know what the real steel one is. I think the real steel one is like a polymer. So it's definitely a different quality, and it could probably be lighter depending on the build, you know. So again, I know where the functions are, I know how to put it together, I know how to use it, but I'll have to learn everything about it when it comes to the actual real steel version. And look, that little piece of plastic right there, and you can see that little tiny lip, see that? It snapped. That's probably why my magazine doesn't stay in place very well. So either in transit or storage or something happened and I snapped it. So now this magazine is not, it's not great for it. I could actually take this off though. There's a screw there, a couple screws inside the stock there. You can just unscrew that, pop this right off. I'm pretty sure I can replace. I'm pretty sure that Roni sells a replacement for it, or CAA sells a replacement for it. But anyway, there you guys go. The CAA Roni carbine conversion kit for the Beretta 92FS and Glock. Pretty cool kit. Definitely fun to have. Definitely, if it's something you're looking for in real steel, definitely something you might want to check out. For 75 bucks, you could check it out on an airsoft gun and see if it's something you're comfortable holding, running around with, and whatever. And you know, see if this works for your muscle memory skills. You know, and then go from there. But it's pretty fun. I think for airsoft, it's awesome. It's a pretty fun kit. Definitely looks cool. Definitely sci-fi looking. You know, so it was worth it to me. All right, guys. As always, like, subscribe, share. Check me out if you want on the Discord server, the Tabletop Dungeoneers. I will put the logo right around here somewhere. He likes to pop up right there. That guy. And tell him Zero sent you. There's not a lot of airsoft conversation there because I'm one of the few that do it. Now there are a lot of real steel conversations because, you know, a bunch of the guys go shooting and hunting and stuff like that, and that's cool. And I can always use more airsofters conversation if that's what you're looking for. But you know, it's mainly a Dungeons and Dragons, crafting, role-playing, tabletop gaming community. So if you're into that kind of stuff as well, please check us out. Like I said, tell them Zero sent you. You'll enjoy it. The guys there are great. They have great rapport. They've all got YouTube. Most of them have YouTube channels, and you know, they're all content creators. They like to craft, you know, things, and they like to be creative and build and you know, think through their processes. So if anything, like I said, check us out, Tabletop Dungeoneers. And like I said, like, subscribe, share, and I appreciate you guys sticking with me. All right, Zero's out.